Hey, this is David. Sorry we missed you at the workshop on Saturday. And we were making an audio of it, but it didn't work out very well, the audio recording. So I wanted to do a little quick little video, just to walk you through some of the pieces that you saw. So first of all, hey, thanks for watching this. And I know this is a very rough video. So just chalk it up for one of our mantras of going for the good, not the perfect. Okay, so it's really important that we start to think about 2019 and 20. Our partner organizations are telling us left and right that what we do today matters tremendously for what we could achieve in 2020. That we can't just show up and act in 2020, whether it's in the state of Washington or in Florida or Virginia or Arizona. That we need to be active now in registering voters and then getting them out to vote. The big payoff comes in getting them out to vote in 2020, but that the next 16 months in prep for those final 2 months of the 2020 election are really important. So you have a handout or a document you can click on, which is our 2019 and 2020 plan. And I just want to give you 2 or 3 minutes to kind of orient you to that document so you know what you're looking at. On one page at the top is our common purpose mission and vision and promise. So our vision is to foster, support, and amplify a just and inclusive democracy. And that's very important. That's vital to what we're trying to do. The world needs a more representative and inclusive democracy, and we're all committed to that 100%. Then you see our kind of daily mission, which is to provide on-ramps to civic engagement, to expand the body of people who are engaging in and benefiting from that civic action, and to make sure that we invest in our next generation of leaders. All of those are non-negotiables for us. Those are all essential for who we are, and we're 100% committed to those on a daily basis. And then the third bit is our operational promise, that we support, honor, and respect communities, partners, and leaders. And so we really stick to those. We follow the lead of our partner organizations. We follow the lead of our state team leaders, our leadership team for common purpose. That it's really important that we're not trying to fix or make better the things that they do. We're just trying to support and help them to do the work that they're doing. So on that same page is a map that shows all the states that we're engaging in 2019 and 20. You can see there's Washington State, and then there's 13 more states, so 14 states total. And then on the left side of that page is all of the set in stone dates of workshops. Those will be roughly every second Saturday of the month starting this September. We'll take December off, and then we'll continue on all the way through 2020. We may have more, but those are ones you could mark in your calendars right now. And we, of course, don't expect you to be able to make all of those, but those are going to be really important days for information, for sharing, for uplifting, for community among us. We know that it's not possible or fun in any respects to try to do this work all by ourselves. It's really important to do this work in community with each other. On the other side of that page is the kind of outline of it's the framework for the plan for 2019 and 20. We have on the far left side the seasons of the year, 2019, and then 2020, and then you have 4 lanes of action. The first is the state of Washington and things that we're doing already this year, and we'll do for the rest of the year, have some candidate forums that we direct people to, and then provide get out the vote opportunities this fall for local elections. And then next year we'll do some more accountability action of working with elected officials and making sure that they're aware that we're out here working on their behalf and expecting them to be progressive in the work that they do. And then we'll work very hard on voter registration and ultimately get out the vote in Washington State. That work is led by our Washington State strategist, Jamie Lynn Wheeler, who is full-time at Fuse, Washington, and works for us in Common Purpose on a part-time basis. And Jamie Lynn and I have been working real closely on these pieces and really excited about the work that's happening here. You can see as an attachment to the recap, what we would call Washington voter justice laws that have been passed in the last 2 years. These are laws that have expanded the kind of voting electorate, who gets to vote, where they get to vote, when they get to vote, how they register to vote. These are really important laws for building that just and inclusive democracy that we're working on. And the attachment there, that's part of the recap, points to those laws in 2018 and 2019. And I encourage you to look at that. That's the kind of work that we're striving to achieve in all of the states that we're involved in. The second lane is our national state engagement. This is where we're going to be working around the country for the next 18 months. We're going to particularly focus in a couple of those states in 2019, and then we're going to focus in all of them in 2020. And those states are those states that are on the map on the back of that handout. But there's a large number of them, as you can imagine. On the East Coast, from the South, you have Florida and Georgia, to North Carolina, Virginia and Pennsylvania, and up to Maine. Then in the Midwest, we have Ohio and Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota and Iowa. And then in the West, we have Arizona and Colorado. All of these have important races in them. And I'm going to, in a different video in just a minute here, you'll be able to see me talk for just 2 or 3 minutes about some of those key races in those states. What we're going to do across all those elections is we're going to get out the vote in some of those states in 2019 where there's actually elections. There's a special election coming up in North Carolina, and there's odd year elections in Florida in which everybody in the state legislature is up for re-election or election in the state. A very important place for us to engage. We'll be engaging in them for Get Out the Vote in August and September and October of this year. In all of the other states, we'll be doing voter registration, probably starting with Florida and Maine early fall. And then in all the states, making trips to engage in those states. What we'll be doing is for voter registration is we'll find out when those partner organizations want us to come. We will come when we, if at all possible, those dates. We will notify the trips, notify everybody in Common Purpose about the trips and when they can, how they register. And we'll also do many of these. So Pennsylvania this week, the following week it might be North Carolina, then it's Wisconsin, and then it's Arizona, and then it's Colorado, and then it's Pennsylvania, and then it's Michigan. So you might imagine this is kind of like a set of buses coming along at a bus stop. If you miss one of these, but you want to be on the next one, you can get on it. And the way to do this is to sign up for our teams on our Common Purpose website under the Fieldwork tab. You'll see that there's 2019 teams and then there's 2020 teams. And so if you're interested in those states, for any reason at all for interest in those states, sign up and you'll start to get information from the state captains that are part of those states. So I'm going to say a little bit more in a separate video in a second about those states. But that's the general plan for 2020 is we'll be involved in all of these states, that our 2019 and 2020 years roll together, that they can't be really separated, that from today moving all the way through 2020 election, these pieces are related. How we're going to do in Virginia in 2020 is going to be tied to our action there in 2019. Our ability to engage in North Carolina in 2020 is going to be tied to our action there in August of 2019. And then in all the other states, we're going to do voter registration sometime between now and 2020. And then in those last 2 months of the election, absolutely, on every front in all these states, push, push, push. We want to leave it all on the field. The third lane of that handout is our education lane. And this is a whole set of things that we already know we're going to offer and other pieces that we aren't sure of, but we'll probably get into this space. We are going to do an event in July around music and social movements with Mark Pearson. Just before that, we're going to do our debate watches for the first Democratic presidential debates in late June. We're going to invite everybody in Common Purpose to come and join, and we'll watch it together. We're going to do some of my lectures about American demagogues this fall. I'll do some more lectures next year. We have our presidential primary trips that are available to people in early 2020. We're going to do a whole bunch of things. These education pieces range in cost from zero, nothing to you, to quite expensive. And we offer a whole range of these, knowing that some of these are going to appeal to some of you and some other ones are going to appeal to other people. Every dollar that we take in the education lane, will go towards supporting Common Purpose. So any dollars you commit to a workshop or to a trip, or to a set of lectures, will all go towards Common Purpose. And that's an important area, and we're going to continue to invest in that. It's not our number one lane. The action lanes on the left, the Washington State and the national ones, are our top lanes, but the education lane goes parallel with them and connects with it very much. And then lastly, we have we have a new lane of action, which we're calling fair voting. There have been a number of people over the last, 6 months with Common Purpose who've brought up the point of the fact that we are dealing with voter suppression all over the country, and we are dealing with it by registering voters and getting out the vote. But we're not directly dealing with it by trying to get people the voter ID laws that they need to have, voter IDs that they need to have. And we're also not dealing with it directly by supporting organizations that are legally testing or combating these laws. It's true, we're not. We are working around the voter suppression through our voter registration and our Get Out the Vote. But we can also go directly at these voter ID laws and voter suppression. And we're committed to doing that, not by becoming a legal organization ourselves, but by finding those organizations that we can support and partner with, and then travel or provide expertise to help support them. Now, what exactly this is going to look like, I don't know. We're going to ask people in our community to come together and to work on this and to build this sometime over the next several months. And so this is basically an idea organically coming out of the Common Purpose community. And one of the key people in making this kind of get started is a guy by the name of Rich Cohen. And Rich was on our Wisconsin team in 2018. And Rich is a former lawyer, and he has been pushing me to think hard about how it is that we could directly address voter suppression. So Rich is going to head up a steering committee that will form based upon your interest. You reach out to him, and he'll put together some meetings for you all to get together and talk. So in addition to the other pieces, we're forming this new lane. How it's going to look is to be decided. If you're interested in being part of that conversation with Rich, then I'm going to provide his email address in the recap as well, so that you can contact Rich directly to connect with him around the fair voting lane. All four of these lanes form what is our voter fieldwork plan for 2019 and 20. All of them are important. All of them are central to what we're trying to do. We see them synergistically working together. Last thing I want to say about this work is that behind this handout, behind this framework, I should say, is a tremendous amount of leadership development work and idea development consideration and kind of execution. This is work that directors A.J. Musewe, Charles Douglas, and myself are deeply involved in. We see all of these pieces as intertwining together. The voter fieldwork is our most central action at this time, but we don't see this as a sustainable enterprise without continual investment in leadership, new leadership, and in considering and trying out new ideas. So whenever you give support to Common Purpose, it's to support the entire body of voter fieldwork plus the behind-the-scenes leadership development and idea development. So that's our 2019 and 20 plan. Happy to address any questions that you might have. You can email me at david@commonpurposenow.org. So that's it. Good day, and thanks for checking out this video and looking at our recap. See ya.